Hey guys, and welcome back to Astro FX Technical Tuesdays, this episode 54. Now, before I let this guy talk, it was this guy's birthday the other day, so the guy just turned 28, so happy birthday to the GOAT Shaun Lee. We just come back from a crazy few days over in Tokyo.
Yeah, that's right. So our last video was on the 25th of February in regards to what happened with Kryptonary and so forth. And all of the childish commotion was a little bit draining, as you may have seen on the video. And it was my birthday the following day. So Nat suggested, why not fly somewhere and let off some steam and just, you know, have a little bit of fun. So we had various options. We haven't been away together since we did Thailand and Vietnam just before Christmas, because of the office and moving in and stuff like that. So we had various options. We had Bahamas and Dubai, Bahamas, LA was another option. But I'm a big fan of Asia, as many of you guys know out there. So Tokyo was an absolute trip. From when we boarded onto the plane at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, the wave just did not end until yesterday morning. So a little bit hurt right now from a little bit of partying, but epic. And we're going to see a couple of people back there in the summer as well.
Yeah, definitely recommend Tokyo to anybody that's going to go. Now, whilst I was in Tokyo, I said to Shaun, shall we shoot a Technical Tuesday coming up? So, whilst I was hungover in bed in Tokyo, I put a bunch of pictures together on my phone from many years ago, and I'm actually going to put a little clip together for you right now. So, Shaun is not expecting this. Enjoy these videos and pictures.
This dude.
Brian, I'm Brian.
He's Brian.
I used to toss garbage for 4 years to an agency.
Tossing garbage, bro.
Okay guys, so at 28 years old, I have now been in the Forex market for 8 years. More or less mid-19 to 20 years of age when I was still working at an engineering firm. Now throughout the ups and downs of the entirety of the journey, I have learned to realize now, and I'm always trying to refine myself, my psychology, my mindset, bring things back to simplicity, because we can always get overwhelmed with many of the things that we're conditioned with going through the markets and so on. One of the largest things that I've realized is that a lot of it is down to how you perceive the market through your mind, and also how you can bounce back from a negative situation and also manage risk, not to somebody else's terms and conditions, but to your terms and conditions, in order for you to actually remain up, whether it be weekly, bi-weekly, or even monthly as well. For those that know me, I've done some pretty wild things in the past. I've had some extreme losses throughout my journey, and I've also done some huge returns, just out of the ordinary from what I've seen from other people. And I've also publicized a lot of my trades and a lot of my analysis going backwards, and I will do going forwards. For me, what's really helped me is always pushing my analysis out there and maybe sharing a lot of trades. It's something that I've always done from back in the day, from the Facebook groups, to what I still do now on Instagram, Everything FX, and also some of the Instagram lives that I do. For me, it's kind of a mental task, and I get a small thrill out of it, knowing that so many people are watching your analysis a lot of them to actually learn and make money, but also a lot of them to see when you're going to burn out and when you're going to fail, and maybe wait for a row of consistent trades which have maybe been in drawdown, or analytical pieces that may have went wrong, for them to come and throw some dirt on your name and so forth. And knowing that I'm in between both sides of the fence there, over time it's allowed me to always bounce back harder and put in more efforts if I have had 1 or 2 losing trades, and also control, because it's easy to get overwhelmed by your own overconfidence, if you will, and sometimes some ego there, and then you can then get knocked back down. So it's a huge balance between the entirety of what I've just mentioned. And again, for me, looking at these charts now, some of you guys know, for the current project I'm doing, which is an additional add-on to the AstroFX course, where I'm taking a small account consistently up into a large account by showing the ins, the outs, the daily journaling, the live screencast videos, the live account history, and so forth. This is one of my biggest challenges, and it's took me this long now, I would say 8 years, for me to actually build up to this level where I have the confidence to kill it, and also share that publicly with the world throughout all of the ups and the downs. So from everything that I've just mentioned there, I believe the fear factor has been taken away from my personal trading, and a lot of the doubt, which is in the back of your mind as well, by constantly trying to break and overhaul that barrier. Again, especially if you're doing it publicly in front of so many people, that's allowed me to continue to strive higher and higher and higher and higher. So the plans that I have this year, which are being put into place right now, aside from the Element 13 project, which many of you guys actually know about and are seeing me go through at the moment, whilst again still sharing some of the live entries, still sharing some of the profit shots, still sharing the analysis. It's something that is now going to take me personally to the next level, along with Nat and everybody in the office. And again, just being here and sat in this space at the age of 28 is a huge achievement, and sometimes you can actually forget where you've came from as well throughout all of this. So it's always good to look back, and that's why Nat put up the crazy photos of some of our ups and downs along the journey. Always there for the highs and lows, and always looking to proceed and open the next doorway into the future goal. Looking back at that, sharing that with you guys, some of you can actually relate, our longer term followers, at some of the crazy times when you guys may have actually met us at different locations in the world, and just reminded me just now how far we've actually came, and never to lose sight of the vision going forward. So I'm now going to share with you some of my pieces of analysis. I'm going to give you GBP AUD, Aussie dollar, gold, and also GBP JPY, something that I covered briefly yesterday, London session open, on my Instagram live, after being away in Japan for the later half of last week and having a little bit of fun. So rebounding, bouncing back from all of the obstacles that are always thrown in, and the life's tests. Always, always, always keep your sight on the vision, continue to refine yourself and push forward, and never, never, never give in to anybody else's bad comments about you, and forget what they think. Focus on your journey, focus on your chart work, your trading, your discipline, your psychology, and yeah, we can all get there. So let's go. Hey guys, so thanks for tuning in. Now, starting with the good old GBP JPY, this is daily time frame. I haven't really posted this or got involved with this pair for quite some time now. It's been probably around 3 to 4 weeks, but let's see what we can do here. So breaking out of 145, I'm not going to really go into any of this price action right here. I just want to get straight to a potential trade setup and the next directional bias on this pair. So 148.56, let's just say 148.50, just a psychological level over there. Tapped directly from that, had a bit of a gap to the upside on yesterday's closure, and we managed to, it's a little bit sloppy here actually, but we managed to come back below 147.50, which has always been a very strong level for this pair on both of the support and resistance sides. Now we're sat on this little area, which I'll get to in a moment, which is the 4 hourly, but what I'm interested in right now on this pair as to where it spiked into on this daily time frame earlier on. So one of the prior spikes, taking it from the body, we can use this as a range if you will. The pair can actually pull up from this zone, but let's go a little bit deeper into the 4 hourly. So 4 hour basis, I had previously marked on. So what I can do now, I've just spotted this area. So what I always like to do is just maybe come down into the time frame and see if I can actually refine a certain level or certain zone. So that's that right there. As I can see, we spiked into it beforehand and the liquidity was taken straight from 146.60, and then we've come all the way back up to the top end of that range, which is 147.07. So around 30-40 pips there. As you can see, the market is pulling back quite nicely. I've also just marked on this zone, which I can now refine even further to the baseline of 1-2 bodies right there, and we can also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes. So even though we had 5 spikes come through that miniature zone, we also had the 6th and then the 7th move. On the 8th move, we are pulling back above that zone as well. So if we just focus on what's actually happening right here in the last day or so since market open, all we've really done is spike into the liquidity zone, and then we've come back up. Probably buy orders are being taken here from this previous spike. And what we can maybe see now from GBP JPY is a run back up to the highs. If I was to just remove that there and look for potential target points, taking average is one of my favorites, taking this area right here. Overall, I don't consider this as super bullish, because if we also, I'm going to relate to GBP AUD at the moment, but what we can do, and probably the best setup to wait for on GJ for a better risk reward trade, is for the pair to come into this region, show us a rejection, and then come back down and maybe even back into 145. That's what I'll personally look for at the moment on this. So I'm not going to go back in time. I just want to keep the price relatively relevant, if you will, as to what's been going on in the last 3 or 4 days. But reading that then, reading in between the lines and the fine detailing, that is what I expect on GBP JPY. So if it rolls over, then fair enough. It could roll over from here, break, retest this area, show a sign of a bearish retest, where it could be a nice spike coming into this region and closing back below, then to roll over to this zone. That would be my favored. Coming higher and higher and higher, to be honest, I'm going to leave the bullish bias, and that's just my preference of how I would handle this particular market at the moment after what I've seen recently. But if that makes sense to you, then I hope I've helped there. So let's go over to GA. Now GA, again, I covered this on my Instagram live yesterday, so I'll try to run through this as fast as I can, but with some detail. Excuse me, I'm very, very tired, a bit jet lagged at the moment. So we have the highs up top. The highs up top, 1.872425 quarter figure there. We can also maybe go in and take an average from top of that green wick and across, where the market's again similar to what we see on GJ, but on the both 4-hour time frame, sorry. And how we've reacted to this zone, coming through, back above, spiking in again, spiking in one more time. And even if we went into the hourly on GA, we can actually again see if we can actually refine that zone. I'm happy with that. It's a little bit sloppy, but it's fine. As long as we can read the fine details, it's cool. So we come in, and earlier we've spiked back up to it, but we're also making prominent high, lower swing high, lower swing high, lower swing high. And the market for me on GA is ready to potentially roll down. Where can it roll down to? I did go in and mark from top to bottom of this range yesterday on my Instagram live, and gave you the steps as to what to look for and when to potentially enter the market. Now, I'm just going to remove that for now. But the lower end, we have 1.8500 for this pair, which is 85 pips away. One more from there onward, we also have, let's take it right from there, we also have this zone over here. So let's look at where where certain other points are of interest. Point of interest right there as well. So looking at this market from rolling over 80 pips into this zone, and then once more, if we could maybe line this up, let's go back to the 4-hourly. So as you can see on the 4-hour there, we do have a greater gap, a greater zone, which we can look for the price to be magnetized into. From there, we can come back to 8,250, but I don't want to give any extremely bold calls right now on these pound markets. but I do believe we're just going to roll over from here. So 0.1, let's say 85, 0.2, 1.8364. So we do have quite a long way down for GA, but my trade was taken on a 30-minute time frame yesterday. I brought my stop up overnight. I was literally stopped out, and you guys seen this on the Instagram, by around 2 pips, and then the market is still swinging to the downside. So that's that. If I then go into Aussie dollar, because the Aussie dollar right now, we do have some data out tonight, but what I've seen here is market is sloppy. It's building up positions right now because I can tell by the price action and what it's gearing up to do. So we're either gonna have a painful death on this pair, or not too painful because we do have 7050 there, which I don't think it can breach right now, or we're going to come back to the upside, which I do favor. I do favor that. 4-hour candle, we do have a wick straight through, creating a new low. So we can even say 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drives to the low. Obviously we gapped up a little bit on the Sunday evening, but it's all well and good so far. If we were to take a range from this, or even just a simplistic box zone of consolidation, what I'll then do is I'll come into the hourly. So my hourly, I'm in profit at the moment, but I simply waited for this spike to close, show me a spike into the lows, and again collect something of value, because we also have the wicks over here. So all I'm doing is looking at where entries are being taken, higher level entries are being taken on this, and trying to follow what exactly is going on here. So we have spike to the low, we have also quarter figure more or less being tested as well. But for me, I'm just mainly monitoring the 4-hourly. Stops are just below the wick there, so not too loose. We have pretty tight stops, about 22 pips including spread, and 7150 right back up here for me on Aussie is what I'm actually looking at. Finally on gold, I shared this once more yesterday on my Instagram live, and this region right here, keeping it again quite simple, because all of the main key levels for these pairs are in my head, so I'm not even like reeling all of them off. It's just from the experience on some of these pairs, which are also helping me to determine maybe the point of call, which is next, or the next directional move, and just the overall bias in general. Gold, 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. What we can maybe expect now on the daily time frame is, because gold momentum is kind of slowing down, it seems it to me, from today's candle and also yesterday's. Coming into the 4-hourly, has been sinking relatively well, but we could maybe expect a rebound, and I mentioned this on the Instagram live the other day, from 1278 to 1285. Where could it go from there? We have this zone, and we also have a region over here. So anywhere in between, guys, anywhere in between 1304 and then 1312. Okay, anywhere in between there, which is still a decent amount of pips away, just over 200, 300 pips. And from there onward, I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it and see, I don't think gold's going to revisit these highs just yet, but we can consolidate and maybe bounce for a little while and whatever. But that's my viewpoint on gold. Again, keeping it simple for all of you new viewers and new followers. And I'll pass you over to Nat now. Hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I'll catch back up on this video in a few days. Leave some comments, feedback, subscribe, whatever you need to do. And I'll see you soon.
Hey guys, so let me run through some of my currency pairs. I've got 3 in total: GBP USD, USD CAD, then we'll finish with a bit of dollar index hopefully. So GBP USD, so actually stated here where we actually made the last technical Tuesday. So this was the area just here. So what happened would price had literally crossed over to the downside of 1.3, and I actually gave 2 downside targets. One was around 1.28600, and the second target was our weekly down here at 1.27500. So since then, just doing a bit of a recap, price came up, retested 1.3, and then instantly pulled down lower low, lower high, and then that last lower low came very close to our target, around about 10, 15, 20 pips close to our target. So that would have been a good few hundred pip trade down to the downside. So hopefully some of you guys got that. And then since then, we actually then changed direction, and then we've been on quite a bit of a bullish run. So creating our first higher high here, and then crossing back above 1.3, and then also retesting it down here, and then pushing back up again one more time. So the pound here once it crossed 1.3, we actually have extended over 350 pips basically to the upside. Now this was possibly because of a softer Brexit that was getting priced into the markets, and also it was accompanied by Donald Trump bashing on TV, I believe it was, that the dollar is too strong, and then basically blamed the Fed for tightening over after years of QE. So there's quite a bit of fundamentals that actually help boost up pound and then a weaker dollar. But then ever since we actually came up here and we spiked through and created a high here, of course, 1.33500, then obviously spiked up once, twice. I did in the member zone on EFX to talk about possibly we could obviously short this position around this area, crossed back below. And then this morning, we've actually sold off one more time after the reports came through of no breakthrough made on the Brexit talks. So again, yes, a lot of stuff happening there. And right now we are basically trading around my daily level, which is 1.31200. Now, what I do expect to happen, as you can see, I've got this trend line here to the upside, breakthrough retest, and can we continue? So I do believe if you go on to the 4-hour time frame, which we can see, that last candlestick is obviously quite bearish. Now, two things: could it consolidate and then break through, or are we going to have another run to the upside? So I see this possibly breaking 1.3200, and I see possibly in the next week or so, possibly 1.3 being touched. So it depends if we can continue, and is this just another higher low, or have we changed direction and now we're going to be going down to the downside? So GBP USD, it's all about what does it do around this daily level, and will we have the power to break below? So there's a downside target for that. Hop over to USD CAD. So USD CAD, last time I made this video was here. So I did talk about 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, what will actually happen. And it broke through that and actually said, if it breaks through this, we're going to have to fight this level next as an upside target. So it did quite well there, and that's quite a good amount of pips achieved on that, basically on that break of 3 weeks ago on Technical Tuesdays. So since then, price has then been consolidating back and forth and back and forth. It looks like we're in a similar scenario just over here compared to over here. So we had 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and I did make a Everything FX article saying what will happen on 0.4. Now on 0.4, this has actually moved up because of some poor GDP data coming out for the CAD and helping boost the US dollar up. So now we've actually approached a daily level on my USD CAD. So if you look here, last time we were over here for end of January, and then we had a massive pullback on that. So can the same thing possibly happen here? So this is my monthly area, but as you can see, this area right here is quite significant for the USD CAD. So yeah, as you can see here, boom, there, 1, 2, 3. It's been definitely an important area. So right now, watching USD CAD at 1.33500, what's going to happen? Can we see a short opportunity? And if we do, can we actually try and short it back down to 1.32? So that is the level I'm looking at and the trade opportunity for this upcoming week. If it reaches this area, we could have a strong bullish run as well, because again, being such a significant area. And then I'll finish off the dollar index. The dollar index, growth is good, but you need to remember that because of the UK and EU struggling, and obviously the dollar becomes the world's reserve currency. So obviously all the Brexit talks are actually helping the US dollar right now. And since the last video, I did talk about if we broke above 96, where could we go? And obviously it's kind of made new highs up here at 97. And now it looks like it's kind of trading in between consolidation. And I do think tomorrow it could push up a little bit further. So again, helping the US dollar against many of the counter pairs if this thing continues to go up. However, I've obviously got a good opportunity on GU if this thing can obviously break a little bit further down. USD CAD, also looking at a possible sell opportunity, but we'll have to see how good this bounces. And yeah, hopefully that helps some of you guys in these two currency pairs, and also keeping a good eye on dollar index because it has a little bit further to go. Thank you very much.